I've actually never shared that with anyone other than you.
No way.
That's the first time I've actually said that out loud. Yeah.
Wow.
Other than with my wife.
Kyle, dude, fresh off a championship, welcome to the show, man. I appreciate you being here today. I'm very excited.
I appreciate you having me, man. This is awesome. I know we've had some really good conversations over the past few years with 5 Cent Event and mutual connections with Christian and Mike.
Yeah.
And I think this is great timing. It's meant to be, and I'm really excited, man.
Dude, let's go. Yeah,
let's do it.
I'm fired up. So with that, let's take us through kind of the beginning of your story, starting kind of towards post-secondary, like maybe grade 11, 12, and then we can kind of go through transitions there and then cycle back all the way through.
Yeah, for sure. So I might actually just go back a little further. Like my mom, my parents, incredibly supportive. Mother was a sprinter and hurdler for Lockerbie. My dad played basketball in the Sioux. Played with some Canadian legends with like Guy Vitry. Played for incredible coaches like Ken Shields. Just recently recognized in the Hall of Fame at LU for the 70s class. Yeah, so it's really wild. And they kind of shaped who I was and provided me many, many opportunities that I'm grateful for. So without them, I would never be where I am today, right?
Hell yeah.
So lifelong basketball player, hockey, like all that, all the sports, right?
Nice.
As I got into grade 12, though, we had a work to rule strike with the government.
Right.
And I knew that LaSalle coaches were not having, they weren't going to coach. But I knew that my ticket to post-sec was through basketball, right?
Right.
Kind of a goof through high school, definitely made some bad decisions, and my parents allowed me to move away to pursue education and basketball.
Nice.
At that time, it was like unheard of. Like it was always like the hockey guys did that, right? Go and bill it somewhere, pursue that.
Oh, it's a huge thing.
So it's unheard of, and I had some really good opportunities. So like Cathedral, like Jamal McGlure played there. Lots of NBA players came out of this program, and I actually chose Timmins, Ontario, like of all places. And everyone's like, "You're going to Timmins for basketball?" And it was actually a no-brainer because Huey Meyer was the coach there, a legend. Was actually offered the national Chinese team with when Yao Ming played, and the guy, his legend, like he's the one that gave me this quote that we're going to circle back to, about 1% better, and then my actual head coach was John Malnridge, who I lived with for a little bit. They all came to my wedding. Every coach I've ever had is come to my wedding. Kidding. We chat all the time. We chop it up. We've passed on players through connections to these guys, right? So Timmins made a ton of sense to me. There was a legacy there, a lot of OFSA championships, right? So, so we went there. I knew a lot of the players, some of the best relationships I've ever formed through these guys. Like this mutual sacrifice for basketball was like it's ingrained in us. Right. So we've met every summer. It used to be for a men's league tournament somewhere around the province for like a cash prize. We're all fathers now, you know. So now it's just like a boys' weekend on the water.
Sick. Yeah.
But a lot of us actually played college together, played university together. We've all stood for each other in our weddings. So between the work to rule and some of my bad decisions as a grade 11 player led me to Timmins. And without that happening, I would have never met my wife. I would never have the daughters that I have. I would probably have never been a basketball coach because I was going down to be police officer or forensic scientist, like we kind of talked about last night, right? So it's things are meant to be. It's really weird how things play out. But so anyways, after high school, we did medal at OFSA. We were ranked number 1. We ended up with the antique bronze 4th. But it was fun.
Antique bronze.
I know, but played with a broken scaphoid bone. So I broke my wrist about 3 days before OFSA. I walk in on a Monday morning, and I have a cast on, and the guys are like, "Yo, coach is gonna kill you."
Yeah, what's going on?
And I'm like, so I go into the change room, soak it in the sink, and rip my cast off before the coach can know. And then we go down. He did not find out that I played with a broken wrist until my wedding night. I told him. And he's like, "No, you didn't do that." And then all the guys are like, yeah, he ripped it off Monday morning. So it's funny, like looking back. But I probably would have done it again with these guys. Like these guys are my best friends ever.
No kidding.
So then we go to Sault Ste. Marie, doing police foundations at the college, playing for a guy named Thomas Corey. Just came off his pro career in Portugal.
Oh, no kidding.
So played for him for 2 years.
Play, yeah.
Great, yeah. And he's a beauty. He's a player's coach.
Oh, cool.
So play for him for 2, and then I go to the university, kind of like, it's the next step in the suit. And he ended up transferring. So he was my coach for about half a year at Algoma. Blew my shoulder out my last year, but all my friends are playing.
Right.
And, like, I've never not known school without basketball.
Yeah.
Because, like, we saw, like, that was my identity.
For sure.
Right? And I've grown past that, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But, so I said to him, like, what can I do? Like, I need to be involved.
Yeah.
So he offered me my first paid coaching position, an assistant coach for a university.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah.
And he actually valued, like, some of my insights.
This is like early 20s?
This
like,
would be
like
23.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, but he valued me. Like, a lot of coaches might not have,
Yeah, in what way? What do you think
he understood, like, I saw the game in a different way.
Right.
And again, like, I was friends with the guys, so I could be a buffer with them.
I see, yeah. Makes sense.
So he definitely, like, we were sounding boards for each other.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I feel like I was very strong X's and O guys, like, because of Huey and Maliners and Timmins. Like, that was their bread
You
and butter.
understood that game well.
Yeah, exactly. So because of that, I actually changed my whole career trajectory. So no more forensics. And I was like, what is the next closest thing to coaching?
Yeah.
Is it teaching?
Of course.
So I went from bio and like psychology, and I just I finished them, graduated, loved it.
At Sioux College? Or in the Sioux, sorry?
Yeah,
Algoma.
Yeah.
Right.
And then from there, I was like, I got to be a teacher, man. So my wife and I, future wife, we're still dating at the time. We go to Thunder Bay, Teachers College, loved it, and
both of you?
Yeah.
No
And
way,
she was,
nice.
because she was going into pharmacy.
Yeah.
But then, like, it just kind of made sense. Like, it really worked out well.
Wow.
It was awesome. So it's just like these weird things have, like, shaped my life, and that I was never anticipated. Like, sometimes a bad decision turns into something that is a blessing, if you learn from it. So it steered me down these different paths, and from teaching, the very first phone call I made when I moved back to Sudbury after Teachers College was to my former high school coach, Deescalate, who coaches with me on the 5.
Oh, no kidding, yeah.
So within an hour of moving back to Sudbury, I call this man, and hadn't talked to him for maybe 8 years.
Whoa, Dennis coached you?
Yeah, huge
Whoa.
mentor, and Mitch Malone. These two men have impacted my life unimaginably. Like, and I thank him. It was wild. Yeah. No, I'm very blessed to have the coaches I've had, and he was at my wedding too, and Mitch Malone. So, yeah, dude, it's wild.
Man,
Mitch kept me up till 4 a.m. the night before my wedding. But in high school, if you would have asked me that, like, we bumped heads.
Yeah.
I was stubborn. I was a clown. And, no, he's an amazing man, and as is Dennis. So he's like, yeah, we need a grade 9 coach. So I started doing that, and we saw early success. We won cities. We won the NASA. And I've never really looked back after that. Like, coaching's been my calling. And it's kind of led to where I am now, and I'm actually branching out into sprinting and jumpers. But that's kind of where I've been, and it all started from a bad decision and a strike and a shoulder injury, and it's changed my entire life. And like, you can't plan for it, right?
Yeah.
So
what was you could generalize it for sure.
Yeah.
But what was the bad decision, and what was the other thing that kind of led to that? Like, what was the tipping point, if you will?
just trying to, like, fit in with the crowd and trying to be a cool guy, and just got in with a different crowd, and the guys are actually all doing very well now. I still see them. They're at the Sudbury 5 games. Hopefully no bad blood, and it's just the way it played out. And I had an opportunity, and I had the resources to go and pursue basketball.
Right.
And it just kind of really worked out. So I've no regrets, and
Good.
Yeah, it's good though. And they were all at the final game.
Hell yeah.
And they're like, you better win, and we all dabbed up and hugged, and I'm like, yeah, we got this, man.
And
we
then
got
you
this.
did.
We did it. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Dude, it's
Hell
wild.
yeah.
As a Sudbury kid, like, as a hooper, I was always told, like, teachers and just different naysayers, right? Like, you'll never be a professional basketball player.
Right.
So you hear that, right? And like, it drove me. Like, it was wild. And I played a high level, college, a little bit of university, traveled North America. But now that we have the Sudbury 5, and we actually won, no kid should ever hear they can't be a professional basketball player in Sudbury ever again.
It's a thing, yeah.
Like, it's tangible. It's right here. It's right now. And if we it's a game changer, man.
Do
it's
we have
really
any?
powerful.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Do you have any idea of, or we already have this, and I just might not know, any like Sudbury born and raised people that are on the team or will be, or are like
George Cherish played, so he Notre Dame.
Oh
kid.
yeah. That's right.
Played
That's
at
right.
LU.
That's right.
Really really great career. He played. We've had Rob from North Bay. He came and played. So there's definitely like some northern talent that's been around.
Yeah.
We've had 4 Canadians on our team this year, I think.
No kidding. Yeah.
3 to 4. So there's definitely the talents there, and like the game's changed. What I'm finding in the past 10 years is the boys are not picking up a hockey stick at like age 4. Right? That's always been like the thing.
Yeah,
they'll pick up a basketball at like age 12, 13, 14 when they realize the NHL is not going to happen. The female side, though, they've always picked up a ball young.
True.
So we have incredible soccer players. I can think of 3 or 4 that have played NCAA. We've had multiple players go to NCAA for basketball.
Yeah.
On the female side, we've had girls on the national team and the Olympic team from Sudbury. The Swords girls are gonna just blow.
Insane.
They're gonna blow the game open.
It's insane.
It's wild what they're gonna achieve, right? But we're starting to see parity on the boys' side. You know, whether it be finances or concussions or politics with hockey.
Probably,
but
an accumulation of all
I
three.
think, I think so. But they're picking a ball up, and you know what? We're starting to compete with these Toronto teams, and you know, if we hit the state side, we got guys that can hang.
Yeah,
you know, we can hang.
I found too, talking to a few people who have their kids in hockey, the thing that they've run into is 2 things: between politics to get ice time, because that's its own battle, and then the price of it. And then the third thing, sorry to add, is there's also, like we were saying with the down south teams, it's the same reason why competing in most of those places there's issues, because you can't. Every other weekend they have a tournament.
Yeah.
Right? And they have multiple games. There's any arena in the world there for them to practice in. Yeah. So it's like there's plenty of ice time. There's plenty of room. There's plenty of other teams that are at that level in the area. So going from Burlington to Mississauga, or Burlington to Markham, or Markham to Oshawa versus here going like, hey, where's the closest spot we got for like competitive
100%
tournament? And then it's like 3 hours away.
So same for basketball, right? Like we used to get some really good teams coming up to Sudbury, but now their facilities have far surpassed ours. And they can travel 20 minutes and play 5 different teams. Yeah, where we have to travel 3.5, 4 hours. But we do have some coaches that are doing that. Yeah. And like again, I was a benefit of that. We had a coach with Huey and John. We would travel 11 times a year from Timmins.
Jeez. And
some of these terms were like 13 hours away.
Yeah.
We'd go to Quebec. We'd go to Moncton.
Yeah.
But they brought us to where we could perform and compete with like the high level athletes.
Yeah, test your skills, see what else is out there.
But that's what you have to do now. You know.
Yeah, it's sacrifice.
There's some projects that are happening. I can't say too much.
Sure.
But we will probably have a multi-court facility in the next little while.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And we need it desperately.
For sure.
We really, really do. And COVID proved it.
Yeah.
It really proved it, right? Is eye-opening. And like guys like Jean-Gilles with the Baseball Academy, there's a couple other private gyms. Like they definitely filled that need.
Yeah.
But man, we have hundreds, maybe thousands of kids playing basketball.
Yeah,
volleyball.
A lot more.
We need it. And like the volleyball programs are taking off too, right? So we need these facilities.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see how everything kind of flourishes, right?
Yeah.
But backing us up to about Thunder Bay Teachers College, right? That final year or something there, a year or two there.
Yeah.
What was that like? That last kind of setting the tone.
It was different, man. It's kind of like my first time living with my partner, Anna. It was enjoyable. We got our first dog, Oscar.
Hell yeah.
It was awesome, man. But it was also hard because Anna left at times to do her placements back in the Sioux.
Yeah.
And I did mine up there. So I definitely had some hard times, mentally, anxiety, depression, things like that.
Yeah. How'd you bounce around that? Like, how'd you navigate that?
My family was good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Anna's been a rock, like incredible. We've been together for over 20 years. Can tell her anything, I feel, and she's supportive. And like honestly, having Oscar, like the dog, like he was like just having another presence in the house, right?
Yeah.
Like you have your dog, right? And it's just they're family. They're family, you know. And I know we were really, really tight together. But I was very happy to come back and reunite with Anna, lived with her, lived with my parents for a little bit. Just having community, man. Like,
Yeah.
it really makes a difference, I feel. Right?
Amazing.
Yeah.
There's something in a message you sent me yesterday that really stood out, and it's going to be, I'm kind of, just because it's so off the beaten path for what I know most people doing, and I'm curious, I think you might know what I'm about to ask, but I'm curious about the private investigating thing you did for a bit.
Yeah, the kids love to hear about that when I teach.
Because it's just so random, right?
Completely random. But I did the police foundations, right?
Yes, right.
So
right.
I started, I forget the name of the company now, because this was back in probably 2008. I did this, right? So it was a while ago.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of like theft prevention, and then there were some opportunities for like looking at couples and like, is this person being faithful type stuff, right?
Whoa.
So it was good, like, photos and all that. And did I wear a trench coat? I absolutely did.
Really?
Oh, dude, you have to.
No way.
Yeah, it was a good time. But then I actually got out of it. And this is funny because my partner was incredible, but he was like a trained like martial artist, like he could protect himself.
Hell yeah!
And like I had some from police foundations, nothing like this guy.
Oh, dude, it's different. Yeah.
So this woman is running out of a grocery store with a ham under her shirt, like she's pregnant, and then she has like someone else, and they ended up like pulling a blade, and he totally diffused the situation, was incredible, got them in the cuffs, and I was just like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like I recognize my drawbacks, right? But just to say that I was an actual PI and like did the course and everything is like, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
The kids are like, for real.
Fight a woman with a ham and her buddy with a knife.
Dude, you should have seen I had the things. So it's really funny. So I go into the different grocery stores, and actually the one that I was working at way back then, and I see someone like jumps over the rope, and like they have stuff under their shirt. And I say to the cashier, I'm like, that person just ran away with a bunch of meat on their shirt, right? Like, I recognize it still. It's really weird. And they're like,
what?
Yeah, so they call the manager, but like, totally, you still see it, like, you recognize it, you know what I mean? It's weird.
Do you ever jump after them now or no? No, you got a lot.
Heck no, man.
Heck
no, never.
You got a lot to lose.
So the rule is like, if they can get off the property, you don't chase them anymore.
What?
Yeah. If they're out, you gotta let them go, right?
So how does that work, man? You get hired by the company?
So by the company, and then the company has like contracts of what they do, and like they have a bunch of different opportunities and contracts, and like again, people can hire them to do like an insurance investigation.
Yeah.
So someone's off work with like a hurt back,
They go scope them out,
and we're out there, and dude's walking up a ladder with like a pack of shingles on his shoulder, and you're just like,
seems a bit made up.
You know what I mean?
Click.
Like, are you hurting that back? Are you sure? Right. So it's stuff like that. Yeah, it's kind of cool though.
Like a lot of what would you say most of it was, if you had to put?
A lot of it is loss prevention.
A lot of it is loss prevention.
Yeah, absolutely. Really? Yeah. But you do get the other like side of it where someone, and again, insurance fraud.
Right.
Yeah. Or like workers' comp, things like that, right? Yeah. So they would hire the company and cool experience, man. Just something to say like, yeah, I've done it. Check the box, right? Like I think the purpose of life is to experience. Like try new things, man.
Yeah.
Try hard things. Fail again.
Yeah.
And then just keep trying. So done that and bartended served for 18 years.
Yeah.
Tommy's not here. Keg.
In that time though, because what were you? Was it just full time serving then, or is that just kind of like you did it to supplement?
When I moved back in 2008, I was supply teaching.
Right.
And then I was doing that.
Oh, nice.
And then I started at the keg in Thunder Bay.
Oh, no kidding, yeah.
So once you're a kegger, the rule is you're always a kegger. So when I moved back to Sudbury, the second phone call I made after Dennis was to Ev Hoffman, who manages the keg here.
Epic.
And she's like, "Oh, you're a kegger? Come on in." So we do an interview, and started the next week. It was awesome. Yeah,
nice.
It was wild. Yeah. So it was really good.
Huh. So how long did you supply teach for?
Dude, too long. 14 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I had a hard time getting hired just because the way the retirements worked and the saturation of like teachers. It was just kind of like, it's a 14-year trend. So
feels like the opposite right now.
So my sister got hired exactly. Mm-hmm. So my sister got hired like the day out of teachers college. Yeah. She's a teacher too. I taught with her a few times. Nice. Our sales pitch to principals is 2 beers are better than 1. So we've worked a lot together. It resonates,
Who
man.
doesn't like 2 beers
Right?
over
Exactly.
one?
Yeah. So no, it's been awesome. She's incredible, super supportive.
Amazing. Oh goodness.
But so she got on the downside of that. I got in on the bad side. So I had to kind of do that whole thing. And about year 10, I still supply taught, but I got out and I went full time at valet.
Right.
Driving like the trains, conducting slag dumps.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like for Sudbury boy to dump slag.
That's pretty fun.
Dude, it's wild.
Yeah.
Like it's wild. And especially when there's snow, because it goes boom. But we're not allowed to call them explosions because you got to report that to the ministry. I don't know if I should say this. But so we call them reactions.
Yeah.
But it's like they go boom. And they're fun.
They go boom, yeah.
Dude, I got videos there. We'll show you after. They're really, really
Yeah,
fun.
please. Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah. So as a Sudbury guy at school. And then I had a couple derailments. And a derailment's not like what you think, like where the trains are like accordioned and falling over.
Yeah, it comes off the track.
But they're still not fun to be a part of.
No.
And I had an out, and I wasn't like pot invested. It was a couple years in, pension was not that big. I got multiple degrees, so I decided to step away from valet.
Yeah.
And this kind of like assured me I was doing the right thing. The day I resigned from valet, my former principal at LaSalle called me that afternoon.
Yeah.
And said, "Hey, are you still teaching?
No way.
I have a job for you."
You're like.
And I was like,
yes.
"Okay, this is meant to be, right?"
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine not being a teacher.
Imagine.
Like, I really can't, man.
You're in the smelter or whatever underground, and you
100%.
can't get that call.
Yeah, in the smelter lots, in
Oh.
the super stack. I've done a lot of mine rescue,
Yeah.
smelter demos all over Canada. Like the amount of
Jeez.
experience and careers I've had, I think, and it makes me a better teacher and coach. I feel.
Yeah, and pull
Yeah.
for more.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah, oh,
absolutely.
that's huge.
Speak to different clienteles too.
Yeah, demographics and everything.
Yeah, I
See
know.
kind of whatever they connect with or whatever they resonate with. You're
Yeah,
able to.
absolutely. So I've
Nice.
taught at like LaSalle, Sudbury Sac,
Yeah.
Cecil, which is
Yeah.
a great job.
Really?
Yeah,
No
I
way.
loved it. So
Tell me about it.
police foundations
Yeah.
and teaching and all that kind of like came to be.
Oh yeah.
And my mom, again, like come back to her, she's always said like, police foundations wasn't a waste. Like you're
No.
gonna use it one day. And like I did.
Yeah. You're like, I don't know, Mom. Lo and behold.
And it was a great job. Yeah, I loved it, but they're slotted to close. And I didn't want to like be placed at a random school.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of wanted to choose, and I ended up at Llewellyn, and like this is a forever home. Man. Like I
Nice.
found my people, man. Incredible athletes, great staff,
Mm-hmm.
great resources. Like yeah, it's wild. So
No way.
Cecil was fun.
Yeah.
Teaching aspect wasn't difficult, but it was
Right.
the emotional side.
Yeah. In what sense?
So there's a lot of confidentiality there.
Makes sense. Yeah. I was just
But
generalizing.
I taught individuals that have hurt people that were close to me.
Oh no way. Oh yeah.
Um,
I remember you mentioning like you messaged like me
Yeah,
about it like
yeah.
a bit. Yeah.
So like, and nothing in teachers college, nothing
No, for
would
sure.
ever prepare you for that.
No.
But I did this person, I think, right.
Yeah.
That never brought up how they've impacted my life and my relationships.
Right. That's the professionalism side of it.
100%.
Yeah.
And you know what? I actually think I learned from that, and I grew from
Oh,
that.
no kidding.
And I think he did too.
Yeah.
Not knowing, what was what, but I think just treating him with that respect and,
Yeah.
and honesty.
But you being able to do that, I think, definitely made.
It was tough,
Yeah.
but I grew from it.
Right.
you
But
know?
that was your challenge, but his was like meeting with you and like having. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
weird.
It was a very rewarding job, though.
Yeah.
It really, really was. And again, like I was them when they were like when I was 17. Like I
Yeah.
was a lot of these boys. But being someone that was athletic, he's in the gym, tattooed.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of resonated with these guys on a different level,
Right.
and I feel like they were receptive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, no, it was good.
Huh.
So I gained a lot from it. I think.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I think I do. Yeah.
No way. That was like a year-long stint, or like you're just like off.
Yeah,
and
it was
couple-
1 year. Yeah. And then
Nice.
I had an opportunity to go to Llewellyn, and
say less. Yeah.
yeah,
Down the road.
love it.
Yeah. Why not? Eh.
Right.
Jeez. Hey. So how'd you get hired there? Like, what was that like? Did you get a call or?
So no, a really great principal there. Worked with him a little bit at Espanola in years
Okay.
prior. The 2 beers are better than one type sales pitch when my sister was there. So it was great working with him, and great staff. Some of them are still there.
Yeah.
But it's a young staff, and they're
Yeah.
all very athletic. So that's kind of my tribe, right? Like
Yeah.
fitting in with like jocks and stuff. And again, these kids like they responded really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
One
good,
of
man.
us. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had one incident though where large individual challenged me. You know, I had to kick him out of class. Which is rare. Like, that's not my thing.
Yeah.
Like, I usually de-escalate. So, police foundations came in. This is where this came in, right? So, full circle here.
Let's go.
So,
Yeah. Your mom was right.
typically, there should be, like, an officer there to guide them back to their residence if they get a kicked
In
out of class.
theory, yeah.
Didn't happen, and it's, like, no fault of anybody's. Like, it's a busy place, right? So, he came back into the class, and I just happened to be standing at the door, and, like, nose to nose, eye to eye, and the kid's, like, big. Like, he's probably bigger than me.
Jeez.
But
You're not a small guy.
I kind of, like, you know, I used my words, de-escalate, right?
Yeah.
So my whole, like, the class, the guys are there, and they're, like, expecting, like, to be, like, physical, and I'm like, no, it's never gonna happen.
Stop making it seem like
it's
that.
never gonna do that, right? So we de-escalate, and he decides to, he's gonna walk away, go to the res, and try again the next day. And we had a great debrief after him and I, like, the next day, like, no hard feelings, like, every day's a new day. But the other guys that were in the class were like, yo, like, you didn't throw, you didn't get physical, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
If you do that, you've already lost, man.
I'm an adult.
Like, you use your words and de-escalate.
Yeah.
So
You
about a month.
didn't throw.
That's what they said, right? Never. Like, first I'd lose my job, but it was never going to come to that. Like, I knew that. Like, I made a decision. It was never going to come to that.
Never. Yeah.
So about a month later, there's a new student comes in, and he's like, "Oh, you're Mr. Beers?
Uh-oh.
Can I swear here?"
Yeah, it's your episode.
So he's like, "You're the guy we don't fuck with." And I'm like, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
Right? Like, what are you talking about? And then he relives the situation. I'm like, that was the impact you guys had, right? But it was like, you get this instant
awesome.
street cred.
Yeah.
And it was, like, it was
love it.
different, right? So,
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So it's just, it's funny how things work out. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow. It's cool, though, that knowing, so lesson learned and takeaway is de-escalate a situation with words.
Oh, 100%, man.
But I think there's, like, there's something to it. Like, there would definitely be a bit of an ego being challenged that way. So for you to be able to not let that be a thing or affect you or get to, be like, I can, improve, you're just like, whatever. It's nothing. That's cool. Where do you think that part came in? Like, where do you think, was that like just, good upbringing?
That's a wild question, because I was...
Because honestly, anybody confront you, and going off of angry teen is like, well, what is... Dude, you would think...
I was a kid, I was the guy that would rip his jersey off and, like, hit balls, right?
Yeah.
And, like, my guys called me, like, Angry Kyle. Like, I was... No, like, I was hot-headed, for sure.
What? Yeah.
And I think it's come from, like, mentorship from, like, different men in my life.
Yeah.
And...
like the coaches and stuff.
Yeah,
like
100%. Yeah. And my parents. But realizing, like... there's things that are bigger than this moment, like perspective.
Yeah. And
you don't always have it when you're younger.
Never.
But as you get older and you have more experience, and you kind of get the perspective, like, this isn't the biggest thing ever.
Right.
And it's still something I'm learning. Like, as a parent, like, is this something I should correct? Or is this something that I just, let it slide and just kind of, like, adjust? Yeah. I think it's a never-ending process, like,
for sure,
it's growth. And but it's nothing's ever personal. And sometimes when someone's going through stuff, it's not about you. Like, it's about their circumstance.
Right.
And Cecil is a really good teacher of that.
I was going to say,
some of these kids have had, a raw deal,
Yeah, major things happen.
And it's
major
not
trauma.
Yeah, and it's not you, it's them. And a book that one of my coaches gave me, and I've actually passed on to some of my players, is the 4 Agreements.
Oh, yeah.
Have you read it?
I've heard of it. It's on my...
You got to read it, man.
It's in line.
It's a game changer.
Yeah.
Which is about expectations, and they're not your expectations; they're the expectations that people place on you.
Yeah, or you perceived others have of you.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. So lots, and like, I'm well read, and I'm always trying to learn podcasts and documentaries and journals and stuff, and it's just curiosity and experience. I think it all comes together, and it will continue.
Yeah,
like, I hope it does, man.
And I think too, to your point, when we're talking about the biggest way to kind of learn based on things, is the best way I've found to quickly get better at things is feedback.
Yeah.
And not so much even like, hey, how'd that go? But man, I'll watch myself back.
You have to.
And listen back and criticize, not so much like with a negative connotation on it, but with the lens from, hey, I want to get better at this thing.
Yep.
I can't hurt my own feelings watching this.
Yep.
Because now it's complete. Because if you're having a bad day and you criticize something I'm doing, well, your feelings now became my problem.
Yeah.
And so it's a tough thing to like juggle with, right? Because now we're thinking of what you thought and not so much how I think of something I'm doing.
I agree.
So it's a weird way to navigate that. So it's cool that you're able to kind of zone out even in the moments where it's like younger me would have threw down.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, oh, relax, man. Not. How do you manage those challenges now? Do you have like?
So
what's kind of like your strategy?
I tell them, like all my athletes, this is you can't be self-critical. You have to be self-analytical.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. Analyze, don't criticize.
Like, and it comes down to that, man. Like, if you're criticizing yourself, like if you're not speaking positively to yourself, who will? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So do that.
Yeah.
Analyze, and every opportunity is a chance to grow. And I spoke earlier, like fail again, and fail again.
Yeah, fail often.
And then keep going. But if you're like again, these cliches of coaching, like you win or you learn. Right. There's no such thing as losing.
Yeah.
You know, like
that's a big one. Yeah.
Like all these things that keep coming up, but like they're facts. Like they work, right? So, you know, if you don't learn from a mistake, then you did lose. You know, you failed, you quit, and you lost. But if you're learning, then you're growing and you will improve. Yeah. And if you want to get sciencey about it, I can talk about failure and what happens with the neurons.
Yeah, talk about it.
For real?
Yeah.
Okay. So, so our neurons are connected through synapses, these little tiny junctures, gaps, where the neurotransmitters...
Synapses?
Yeah. Okay. So one neuron to another, and it's like a little gap. So it goes from electrical message to a chemical message. Right. Jumps the gap, becomes electrical again. So we don't grow more neurons throughout life. Right. It's really hard to do. Really intense physical activity can actually achieve that, but it's hard to grow more neurons. But what we can do is grow more connections, right, in the brain.
I see you, yeah.
So until you're about 22, 25, you're making insane connections, right? The brain's not kind of hardwired. You're in a critical window, it's called. After that, you're pretty well set in your ways, like the frontal cortex, like up here. The most recent, evolutionarily speaking, is like why we can tell stories. So I tell my athletes, like, a dog can't be like, hey, I was down at the watering hole, I saw a lion this morning, and then go back to their pack and relay that. But we can go and be like, hey, I was down at the watering hole, I saw a lion this morning, don't go there. Like, we can kind of tell those stories, and that's right here, like the front brain, right? So that's what gets wired last. But even after it's wired, we can still make these new connections. So my specialty is movement pathways with athletes, like ingraining proper movement pathways. So I have to unteach, or they have to unlearn the improper mechanics. Right. So to do that, I have to like very subtly give them the new cues, new pathways. And they'll fail at that. So let's say it's a free throw. I change their mechanics. They might make 0 out of 10. Okay? And then they failed. So what happens is when you fail, these little connections get tagged with a chemical, a little marker, like a tag. And when you go to bed at night, that improper connection, the one that made you miss, move that improper way, it gets cleaved. So it's synaptic pruning, they call it, like pruning a tree, right? So then the next session, they might make 2 out of 10. So they still failed, but they see improvement.
Yeah, they failed better.
Exactly. So again, chemical tag latches on, be like, hey, this is not the connection we want. So eventually continue to go through this process, and you unlearn the bad movements, or whatever, playing a piano, like anything physical, it's the same process. Right. And then eventually, you know, with purposeful practice, eventually you're going to make 8 out of 10, 10 out of 10. So those connections that weren't beneficial, they've all been cleaved and stopped, but you've made all these new connections now, and that becomes what we call muscle memory. Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but it's this chemical process, but you have to fail to get better.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm really like, youth these days are like, they're so risk adverse. Even when it's like a safe space to fail, they're like, I don't want to do it. Whoa. Because I can't be perfect. Yeah. So like, even like, I'll demo a skill. Like, I've been playing basketball for like 37 years. I'm going to do it very well. Yeah. You're not. But when I was your age, I did not do it well. Right. So
my time to learn, change. Yeah.
So my wife and I, like, we actually mess up and fail on purpose in front of our daughters to show that it's okay. Whoa. Because there was a time where she's like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to do it like you. Mm-hmm. I've got 40 years of experience doing it.
Like, I hope you don't do it like me.
So, like, we had this, like, conversation, my wife and I, and we're like, we got to mess up. We're going to make a wrong turn in the car. We're going to goof up on purpose. Just to show her, like, it's okay to fail, and it's easy to fix.
Mm-hmm. The easy to fix thing, I think, is huge.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can highlight that.
Yeah.
Or especially showing how you guys react to failure, too.
It's no big deal. You're going to fail. You're going to fail multiple times.
So you control how you fail, so that when you do, you can be the example for. Whoa,
it's like,
that's cool.
I think it is cool.
That's like a next level parenting technique. That's what that is.
Yeah, I've actually never shared that with anyone other than you.
No way.
That's the first time I've actually said that out loud. Yeah.
Wow.
Other than with my wife.
Yeah, of course.
No,
yeah.
But it's
interesting.
If someone can take that and if even one person learns, then man, good for them.
Right? No kidding.
But failing's okay. It's good. That's how we've evolved, man.
Yeah.
So
how many kids do you have? Two, three?
Yeah, two. 7-year-old girl Aurora.
Yeah.
Named her after Aurora Borealis.
Nice.
Some pretty powerful experiences working up north, where I've seen it and heard it. And then our youngest is 2. She'll be 2 actually next month.
Oh, wow.
Remington.
Yeah.
And she's going to be my basketball player.
No way, yeah?
So we named her Remy after a gun. She's going to be a shooter.
I love it.
Yeah,
let's go. I have a Remington, too.
Yeah. No, but that's awesome. It, right? So the 7-year-old's going to be probably an artist or something like that. She's really, like, creative, and
nice.
I love that. And, And that's something, like, I'm not, like, super artistic, but I'm creative.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that it adds to teaching, parenting, coaching. You know, think outside the box. There's more ways to get to the answer than just one.
I think the best thing I've ever heard on the lines of creativity is on the other side of boredom.
Yeah.
And I was like, so the problem I found, and like girlfriend and I were talking about like kids and stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, right, all the stuff we talk about when you're like debating having them or about to, whatever it might be, and then talking about that and going, well, man, you see all these iPad kids, right? It's the generation of them, right? Unfortunately, it's how it is right now for I'd think majority, but they're a
babysitter.
Yeah, it's crazy. So it's like when people get bored, and I see this with adults too. That's the thing. It's like, oh, we get bored, pull out our phone. Oh, I'm bored.
It's a reflex
on our phone. Yeah, and then we're anxious. I hit Facebook, hit Instagram, hit LinkedIn, hit Messenger. Nobody's messaged. Nothing's changed in 5 minutes. No. Or just go back and go back.
You need that dopamine, right?
And like quick fix, and I'm like, oh no. So to see that and then be okay, how do we nurture that? It's like you have to be bored and go through being bored in order to like spark your creativity.
Yeah.
It's the biggest thing I found lately.
Yeah, I've been off social media for 4 years. Best thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Best thing, man.
What made you? Did anything push you over the edge?
Burnout with basketball.
Makes sense,
trying to see what other people were doing in Sudbury and not necessarily doing it above board.
Right.
And I felt like I had to be this voice. And again, it's not my role. Like I've learned to stay in my lane, and everyone's going to do what they do. And I think real will recognize real.
Yep.
And if you're doing something for the right reasons,
and
it's sound, it's going to cut through the noise, word of mouth. And I actually had a phone call yesterday with, how do you want to go? NCAA coach.
Yeah.
That wants to start some programs in Sudbury.
Nice.
And he's heard about me through word of mouth. Can't find me on social media. And he's like, I just like really have had a hard time getting hold of you, and just really want to talk to you.
Nice.
And
that's cool.
It was very cool, man. It was very, very cool. But yeah, no, it's boredom is it's okay to be bored, and you have to learn to be bored and to be uncomfortable. Like not even boredom, just like it's okay to be uncomfortable, and to be okay with that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it is hard, but I think growth can happen there as well. Like I grew up where I had 8 kids that were all the same age on the street. So I'd get home from like doing something with my parents, and I'm like, oh, where are the boys? Like, can't just call them. Like they're on the street.
Yeah.
So you'd hop on your bike and you'd cruise your like 3 or 4 blocks to where the other 7 bikes were in the front yard.
Yeah.
You know? But it was like, yeah, and it was good. Or like just be imaginative, man. Play with Legos. You know, things like that. So we're big on that with our daughters, and when our 7-year-old is the happiest, it's when she's creating and playing and drawing.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, like we just did this volcano project. So we created this paper mache. I've always wanted to do it my entire life. I've never done it. So we created, I'll show you some pictures after. I'm really proud of it.
Yeah.
And it's like some of the happiest memories I've had, right? And there's no social media, there's no electronics.
Yeah.
It's just me and her, and we're being creative. Like, how does that look? Like, what about this? You know? And no, I think there's value to that, man. And it's something we might be losing.
I think
right?
so.
Especially with AI. Like,
Especially exclusively with it. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what to write. Go to chat. You know?
Yeah.
I'm just like, man, like, use this. Like, this is the best thing ever. That's why I like reading so much. Like, you can't see, like, you watch a movie, it's great, but they're giving you the image. You know what I mean? You're reading a book, you've got to make that image in your head.
True.
Based on the author's words.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And it's like it's so vivid, and it becomes your story, you know, and not what the producer or director shows you, you know. And I love my movies and shows, don't get me wrong,
of course,
but like, imagination is something that should be fostered.
And I think, too, to your point, there's something when it comes to books, I've said it, where people are like, I don't really like to read. I'm like, the skill of reading and physically being attentive and doing what you said, imagining the story through your lens and what you know to recreate it in your head is, I think, a skill on its own. Like, 100%. That is a creative skill.
I agree.
Like, there's no way.
Yeah. So, like, again, when I'm teaching some of my students, when I give them a new concept, I want them to take that idea and try to relate it to first, like, themselves. Like, have I had this experience? Because then it becomes, like, tangible, and it becomes more personal. Then it's like, okay, have I read this before? Like, connect to text or media. And then it's like, connect to world.
Right.
So you always want to connect these new ideas, these new lessons to yourself, things you've, like, done, experienced, things you've read or seen, and then, like, again, to the world. And it makes it more permanent, I think, like the learning, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. They're able to, like, draw on it from past experiences in their lives, and then, like you said, more tangible.
Absolutely.
They can remember it.
Yeah, you can just attach new knowledge onto like these past experiences, things you've done, you've seen, or whatever, right?
Talk to me about, because you touched on it, and I wanted to ask it, but we went down different lanes.
We went everywhere.
I'm
sorry.
No, I love it. I love it. It's awesome. There's a thing I wanted to talk about where I was like, when you were working, I was like, where'd you work specifically when you worked? You said you, maybe not mine rescue, but worked all over Canada doing this thing?
Like smelter demos.
It was smelter,
demos. Yeah. So a lot was like, Glencore, it was Falconbridge back then. Valet and Inco back then. We went up to Thompson. So kind of all over there. Thompson, Manitoba is a different world, man.
Yeah?
It is a different world.
What,
small population.
Thompson, Manitoba.
Different culture. So you're about 4 hours away from polar bears.
Yeah, makes sense.
So it's up there, right?
So like if Churchill's here,
you're
like just south of it,
a couple hours south of Churchill.
Oh.
Yeah, and like Flin Flon, like it's the end of the highway, right?
Northern Manitoba.
Yeah. So we'd go there. Very different population, but so in the summertime, you would only get like maybe 3 hours of darkness. So you'd go to a bar. You'd have like, if you're day shift, you go to the bar. You could always buy like a case of beer there at 3 a.m. And by the time you leave, the sun's back up. So you go and have a barbecue.
Amazing.
It was a different vibe. It was really fun.
Yeah.
But it was like, we're a bunch of young guys that were doing it. A lot of my college basketball team came with me, and we all kind of did it together.
Nice.
Travel there together. And it's just like, you're young. You made insane money. Really, really cool opportunities. Some of the positions that I've been in, like, so there's like a thing called a cyclone, like in a roaster. So it's a big steel tube, essentially, with like 13 inches of refractory concrete that they spray on. So I'm tall enough, and one of my partners, best man at my wedding, so we were tall. So I'd push my back against the one side of the tube, and I'd put my legs up, and I would like be suspended, jackhammering with like a 120-pound jackhammer, like above my head. Just like crazy things, man. And like what I learned from that, and like super hot. You were only allowed to work for 2 to 3 minutes at a time, and then you had to take 20 minutes off.
What?
It was just, so you'd wear like full face respirators, like mask, and you'd be gurgling by the end of your shift, like by the end of your 2 minutes, because it was just pouring. So you'd dump it off, and it was just like whoosh, splash. You'd lose like 8 to 10 pounds a day.
What?
It was that hot, man. It was wild.
Man, if you want to lose weight, eh?
It was wild.
Oh my goodness.
Dirty, you know, but 28 days straight of 12-hour shifts, and like physically active shifts.
Oh yeah.
But at a time,
how much money are you making a month doing that?
So if I did a 2 contract summer, so you get like 4 months off as a university guy or college guy, So we would do 2 months, one here and then one out in Thompson. We would make about $28,000.
In 4 months.
2 months.
2 months.
And then I had 2 months off to just do whatever.
Not bad.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's solid.
Wild.
Jeez,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. So it was good. It was a really good time and like great memories, crazy pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool connections, man. I still see some of these guys around town in Sudbury, and
Yeah.
you're just like, oh, remember that time?
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's wild. That's wild.
120-pound jackhammer above my head.
Well, that's even, yeah, that's one of the
Hanging
stories.
down, yeah.
You know, walking like 200 feet in the air on a 2x16, you know, like,
Yeah, why?
I know,
Part of the job, man.
Right, but it should have never happened, you know? But you're like, yeah, I did that.
Where's OSHA, man? Like,
Right, I know.
where's health and safety?
We had some cool bosses, and they're just like, yeah, do this really quickly
Yeah.
before anyone comes. And I'm like, yeah, okay, we'll do it.
It's like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
it quickly.
No, it was it's awesome, man. Like, again, as a Sudbury guy, like, mining's in our blood, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my dad was in there too, and underground, and yeah, it's kind of like you cut your teeth on it, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, it's cool.
Oh, geez, eh? Do you have a favorite experience from doing that? Like maybe working not so much here, but like
Amazing memories, but I think the brotherhood and the pranks we pulled probably cut through the best. So like we would take someone's lunchbox, and put their keys in it, we'd fill it with water, and then throw it in the freezer. So
dude!
At the end of the 12-hour shift,
That's horrible.
You know, like we all got it. We all got it back.
Yeah,
Different pranks. Like I got it too. And like after the 12-hour shift, like all you want to do is get the hell home, like shower and just go to bed, right? And your keys in this block of ice, so they're sitting there chipping it with a screwdriver, right? It's just like everyone's dying. Lots and lots of pranks like that, man. And I think like that's what made it fun. Like yeah.
What?
Yeah, but yeah, cool. I've seen some amazing things, crazy sunsets.
No kidding, eh?
Yeah, man, it's wild.
It's the problem with I found sunsets and like photos of them because I have no problems with sunsets. Get it clear. Photos never do them justice.
No, never.
No,
never.
It's ridiculous, but I think that makes the experience though, is when you're able to see something like that, enjoy it for the moment. And circling back to the phone thing, have you ever seen the video called "Look Up"?
No.
Oh, dude. I'll send you a link. You can watch it whenever.
Yeah, dude,
watch
please,
it with your wife or something. You guys be like, "Whoa, this is it." Yeah, it's like 5 minutes. I'm not gonna show you, and because it just it kind of this poetic video of this went very viral when the guy did it, and it basically kind of talks about the whole like it's a very good way of displaying what you miss out by always being on a screen.
Dude, so
and it hit me. I was like, whoa, man.
No, these are fleeting moments, and like you're there or you're not there. And like I was at a concert about a couple weeks back.
Nice.
And I was there with just a local show.
Oh, nice.
Right? A local band. It was a good show, like classic rock band. Sick. But it was a younger crowd. Like these are all LU kids, and the band was LU kids, and like they were wild. They played some of my favorites. But I'm there with guys that are like, we're all in our 40s, and like we're there and just enjoying like being in the moment, and we're bobbing, and some of the women that were there, they're dancing, but every LU kid is watching the concert through their phone, and I'm just like, whoa! It was like an aha moment. I'm just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, be present, be in the moment, right? It was wild. It was a wild realization to see that, and I'm just like, you're missing so much.
You got a beer in one hand, you're just talking like this.
Like it was, dude, it blew my mind to see that. So you're totally on it. Like you got it, right? It's not always about the gram, some things will be shared, and just enjoy certain things. And like being present is like, it's hard to do, but it's also some of the best like feelings you'll ever have and experiences, right?
Yeah, no kidding. So, do you have a favorite experience so far from being a father? Or one that stands out to you? Maybe with each kid or just in general with the whole family type moment, but like as a father specifically.
So
as it pertains.
To go back, like the night I met my wife, I told her immediately, like, I'm going to marry you.
Nice.
And I told all my friends, like, I'm going to marry that girl. So I was with my guys. We're on the stateside. We're in America at a bar. And she's out with her friends, and we obviously didn't know each other. And me and my good buddy were like, oh, she's beautiful. Like, so we're gonna talk to her. We did rock paper scissors to see who got to hit on her.
No.
And she knows this, and I won.
You won. Damn right,
dude. So anyways, I would talk to her, And I told her, like, I'm gonna marry you. And she's like, yeah, like, whatever, She wrote her number down on a Keno card, like an American bingo thing, right?
I love it.
So it took me about a month to get a date from her. And so she's like old school Italian. Her parents are right from Italy.
Love it.
So I, like, dumb me, I'm gonna cook dinner for you and my parents. So I make like sausage and pepper penne. I can never live up to like what her mom does, right? Like, no, it's so good.
Yeah.
And like some cupcakes or brownies, I forget which one it was.
Yeah.
But anyways, like, it all started from there, and like we've been together for 20 years. So that was cool.
One hell of a meal, eh?
But, right.
I love it. Let's go. I love it.
Still one of my favorites. But I never actually thought that I'd be a father. Like, just the shenanigans and stuff I went through as a kid, like dirt bike accidents, falling out of trees, like just always in a merge. Like, I'm surprised I survived my teens and 20s. Like, between my dad and I, like, just constantly at a merge, like wild accidents and bad decisions. It's always bad decisions.
It's always bad decisions.
All right. So like, you're invincible. You feel like it's such a teenage boy. So I was really hesitant. Like, I was scared. And we made decisions. Like, you know what? Like, let's do this. Like, let's have a kid. And it was very scary for both of us. It really, like, we're very blessed to get pregnant early and quickly, and then just being present for that birth. And the first one, my wife was new, all natural, like no meds.
Amazing.
But we were always prepared to, like, this is our plan, but we might have to change. It's kind of the story of my life, right?
Yeah.
So it got really painful. She did the meds, and then my daughter's umbilical cord got a little wrapped. She's totally fine. It wasn't a big, but she couldn't do vaginal, so C-section.
Yeah.
So she had like a really hard labor. So that night, it was me and my daughter the whole entire night, and just like chest to chest, shirt off, skin to skin.
No way. Yeah, of course.
And it was incredible, man.
No way.
So we talked about it. We waited 5 years because, again, like, the first one was very traumatic for my wife and me, to watch what she had to go through.
For sure, yeah.
And
feeling a bit helpless too.
Absolutely, yeah. And then, like, it felt right, and we talked to our elder daughter, and like, do you want a baby brother, baby sister? And she's like, yeah, let's do that. So again, super blessed. It happened quickly, and the second time though was really weird because, like, we knew we were gonna do C-section.
Right.
So we're like, yeah, we're gonna go have a baby on this day. It was weird. So we wake up that morning, like, pack the bags, like, we're gonna go have a baby today because it's C-section.
Yeah,
the first one was like natural delivery. Such a weird experience, and it went smoothly. But again, like, holding your child for the first time and, like, being the dad. So C-section, like, they have the tarp up, but you can still see a lot. Yeah. And as a bio guy, I'm like, what are you doing with the anatomy, right?
Grade 11 frog dissection time.
Yeah. So it's like, it's cool. Like, I geeked out on that.
Yeah. It's too funny.
But it's like when they pull them, you're just like, oh my god, like, give them to me right now.
Yeah.
Like, and they've like, we got to weigh them, we got to do this, we got to do that. I'm like, no, like, I just want her, right?
Yeah.
And they have different personalities. Super funny. It's like it's the best thing. Like, those three girls are the best thing that I've ever done in my life, man.
Kidding, eh?
Yeah. And I've done some good things, some cool things. Those three girls are the absolute best, man.
No way.
Yeah.
Do you have anything for fathers to kind of get over that initial fear, or at least manage it better in the beginning?
You'll never be ready.
Yeah.
Like, ever. And you're always learning on the fly. Like, you can read all the books.
Sure.
Throw it out the window, man. Because when that baby comes, no, honestly, like, you can educate yourself. When that baby comes, though, it's like, okay, this is for real. And then you're on your own journey. And enjoy every moment, man. Because it's, like, again, it's fleeting. Like we said, with sunshine and stuff like that. Like, they'll be 14 eventually, and they don't want to sit on your lap, and they don't want to cuddle you, you know what I mean? So cherish everything, and they will make you better. Like, honestly, man. And that's what we try to tell our oldest. Like, love isn't divided. Like, love is multiplied. It grows. Right?
Yeah,
and they will add to your life. They will add love that you've never known what love is. Like, you love your woman, I get that, or your partner, right? And whatever you are.
Whatever they call you.
But when you have your own child, it's different, indescribable love, man.
Whoa.
And it hits you, and it just takes over.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't even know you had the capacity. Like, I didn't think I had the capacity. And then you see them and you hold them, and you're just like, this is my purpose. You know what I mean?
Jeez.
And so I named my basketball academy after Aurora. Called it Northern Lights Basketball. Right? So it just, trying to always honor them and make sure that they're having fun and thriving in their way, and not pushing them, but let them experience the world in their own way. And it's a guiding thing, And everyone's like, everyone I know is like, oh, is she gonna play basketball? Maybe not.
Yeah, if she wants.
And I'm fine with that. As long as she does something. And if she's passionate about something, I don't care what it is.
Yeah, support it.
Be passionate, man. Like, it might not be basketball. That's, again, it's not my identity anymore.
Right.
Where it was for decades. Like, I was a basketball coach, and we talked about this before we went on air. But I'm a human that coaches basketball.
Yeah.
And I'm a guy that's a dad and
Yeah.
or a husband, and all this. And it doesn't affect me anymore. Like, if she doesn't want to play hoops, no problem, man. But I'm pretty sure my young one will. She's the daredevil.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Yeah. But no, I got to coach my 7-year-old for the very first time this summer, or it's March break. Week-long basketball camp.
No way.
I've waited forever for her to come. I've never pushed her, and she asked, like, can I come? We had the best week ever, man.
You can.
Like, it was so fun.
That's awesome.
And yeah, and she's big enough. She sits in the front seat with me, and like,
Nice.
just to debrief about like her days and give her 5 minutes a night. She calls it, "Can I have 5 minutes?" And we lay
No
and
way.
she asks you questions, and
Yeah. That's cool.
It's very, very cool, man.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
And do you have a project throughout your course of basketball, like your time in basketball so far, that you're most like proud of? Not so much accomplishment, but more like a project, or maybe even like something you're proud of, like an accomplishment or a championship, something like that.
They're all special.
Yeah.
Like, they're all like fun. The first one was amazing. I've got a lot. I've been blessed, man. Great players. Too many medals to count. They're all hanging on my fireplace in my gym downstairs. Lots of pieces of mesh. You cut when you win a championship. You cut the mesh.
Yeah.
Probably have enough pieces I can make a mesh. I still carry my Sudbury 5 when it's in my bag right now.
Oh, yeah?
I always carry the newest one with me for like a year until I win another
That's
one.
awesome.
Always. Just like, it's the journey, man. Like, and I tell my kids, like, it's not like, you might lose that last game of your season. Like, you might lose that championship, and that's not the take home. Like, it's gonna hurt for a week. Like, that happens, right?
Yeah.
But from the first day of your season to the last day, that journey, that is what you'll always remember.
Yeah.
Like, you'll forget that last game, even if you win it. Whatever. Like, whatever. But
It's just a
like,
game.
the weekends together on the road in the van, the gags, the whatever we did together, like that.
Keys in the icebox.
That will stay with you forever. And that's kind of like, yeah, man, that's it. Like, that's what it's about for me. And again, I learned that very late.
Right.
It was always about, if I win, I have to continue winning. And that was my identity. And now I'm able to step back and be like, no, it's not it. Like, you might lose. It's cool.
Yeah.
Sun's coming up tomorrow, man. Start again. Like, it's no big deal. But like, 2 weeks ago, you helped a kid that had a sprained ankle, he didn't want to play again, or his parents are going through something and he like poured his heart out to you, or she did, and you were able to guide them through that. You'll never forget that. And
huge,
hopefully they
yeah.
might not either, man.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest takeaway from my journey through basketball, is it's not the outcome of every season, it's the days in between, the start to the last day.
How'd you make that identity shift?
Lots of self-introspection.
Yeah. What'd that look like?
We'll talk about it off the air.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
but
lots
self-reflection.
self-reflection.
Yeah.
And just, I literally took about 2 years off of basketball at the end of COVID.
Right.
Because I was burnt out. And I needed to step away and find the love again naturally.
I get it. Yeah.
And there's one person that actually gave me that opportunity, Mac Bertrand. So he's the coach at Llewellyn.
Yeah.
And he asked me to come and coach a very special team 3 years ago. It was his son's last year.
Whoa.
And he's coached these guys for 5 years. So for him to, I thought it'd be an assistant coach. And he's like, no, you have to be the head coach.
He didn't want to be head coach for his kid's last.
And that blew me away.
Yeah.
But he's like, we have to win. I think you can help these guys get over the hump.
I see what you mean.
Where they were great kids, but they didn't have a killer instinct. And we together we gave them that instinct. And like, he's ever since he always has been a great coach.
Yeah.
And he's sailed after too. Like, I was one and done with them, and I wish I could have done more. And he's just thriving. Like, Llewellyn is at the pinnacle right now.
That's
right?
insane.
He's an incredible coach and man, teacher. But to coach that group of guys, they were such best friends. They had so much fun doing it, and we we overachieved. Like, we beat teams we shouldn't have. Like, St. Mike's, who's like a powerhouse in provincial basketball for like decades.
Down south,
you know, like incredible. We went to AAA OFSA.
Yeah.
Life changing for some of these guys, right? To have that opportunity, and to see their brotherhood enjoy it was contagious, and to have like Mac there, and just be able to talk with him and see his perspective, it was like, and we cried. Like, we lost our last game. We lost the last game. We didn't go to OFSA medal round. We hoped we could. We're in like this little 2 doors, like a little room before we go into the change room, and like we're hugging each other, just in like bawling in tears. And then we go in and we talk to the players, and they're in tears. Yeah. And you're like, like, it's fine, like, cry. And Mac and I talked. We're like, it's okay. Like, we have to show men that it's okay to cry. Yeah. And to feel emotions, man.
Yeah. Especially with something like that.
Yeah. You know, and we did it. And I said, he's like, I never thought I'd coach basketball again. Like, I had 2 years off. I was burnt out. And, like, you guys reignited my passion.
I love it.
And I said, I will forever be grateful to you.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
The whole team and everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that might be one of my more special moments, actually.
I love that.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's awesome.
I don't think about that enough, actually. That moment. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. See how passionate.
Thanks for bringing it up, man. Like,
absolutely.
No, it meant a lot to me.
Yeah, it's cool to see how their passion and the coach's passion, like, just love for all of it. Yep. Every single one of those players had it.
Yep.
And then that fueled, kind of reignited yours to send it. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's cool.
It was good, man. It was cool, really good. Special team, right? Yeah. Like, some coaches never get to have a special team, and I've been blessed with maybe 3 or 4, I'd say, and a couple special players that some coaches might never get the experience to coach.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How'd you get started with the 5? Like, coaching them. Like, what was that like initial?
So when it originally started, 2018, something like that, 2019. The head coach was probably going to be Mitch Lalone, who's one of my mentors. He passed away, unfortunately, in the summer before. And I had my academy, so I wanted to partner with them and to like kind of grow grassroots basketball. And they kind of didn't really have a head coach, and they ended up finding Logan, who is the best fit for Sudbury basketball.
Oh, amazing.
If it wasn't for him, I would not probably continue to be involved. Like, he's dialed in. He has his finger on the pulse. Like, he does it the right way. And we had a meeting. He offered me assistant role, and he's like, "Hey, we need another assistant coach." So I was like, "Well, I got a guy like Dennis Goche." So I could travel that year because I wasn't full-time teaching, where Dennis was. Really good time. And then kind of parted ways again, like COVID and all that. Came back. I was full-time. Dennis retired. Kind of flipped roles. So he's the lead assistant, and he's an incredible coach, like, chemistry-wise. Like, he has the gift, man.
Amazing.
But it's kind of being an honor, like, again, to be a Sudbury boy that said you can never be professional, to coach, and now, like, we just won, and we're getting some insane rings.
Yeah.
Dude,
Mikey showed me them.
Oh, yeah,
I want to see, I'll look at them every time, because I love that shit.
I can't wait, man. And the rings tell the story of Sudbury. Yeah. Like, black rocks for, like, our black rock, you know, like, black stones, and, it's cool, man. It's very, very special.
Yeah.
To kind of come back to that, and, you know, it's wild. And my dad was there, and just, like, full circle, man. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite moment that stands out from the last, like, from the 24 hours before the game and 24 hours after the championship? In that 48 hours.
24 hours after was just, like, elevated.
Yeah,
like, it didn't even hit, man.
Yeah.
Like, what the guys achieved, and to be a part of that.
Insane.
And then the significance for Sudbury basketball, it didn't hit for a few days after. And, like, even Dennis and Logan and I, were texting the next day, and we're like, is this for real? Like, we were, like, joking about, like, I don't even know. Like, it was wild. But when we showed up to the gym that day, there was this, like
the day of the game?
Yeah, it was a different vibe with the guys. Like, it was, like, dialed, like, we felt we were going to win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it felt like that. And you kind of you get those feelings sometimes, you know? Like, all right, guys are in a good spot. They're not tight. They're not too loose. They're doing what they have to.
Yeah.
And it's palpable. Like, you can kind of feel that with experience, right?
Oh, for sure.
And I remember Dennis and I were chatting, and we're just like, yeah, we're going to win.
Yeah.
You know? And we did. And then that first quarter was the quarter for decades. Like, we held them to 11.
Yeah, you guys went up.
Like, it was insane. Like, these guys were just on a different level, and probably the best game we've ever played as a franchise.
Yeah, and then they couldn't quite close it, and just kept them at bay.
What a time to put that game together.
Insane.
And like we've
Sudbury
had struggles to like kind of close those tight games.
Yeah.
And we did it. Like, they threw punches, we punched back. Threw another punch, we punched back.
Yeah.
And we closed it out. And then when we saw the other team kind of rolled a few subs in with about 2 minutes left, we all looked at each other, shook hands, and we're like, championship, man.
We just did it.
We did it.
That's cool. So it kind of hit you guys would win a couple minutes right before the buzzer.
Yeah. No, I felt it's a different vibe, man. Like, we were in control, but we knew when we walked down that arena, it was just like, things feel good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're like, there's no anxious energy.
And for being a game 5, usually you're super anxious, like butterflies.
Yeah.
You're not really sure.
You felt confident.
Yeah, and like as a coach, you don't have warm-ups to kind of work your nerves through. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
they do. Like, they have the shakeouts. Yeah.
So we're kind of just like,
no way.
That didn't happen.
Right.
You know, and Logan was calm. He coached such an incredible game. It was awesome. Like, everyone is on the same page, man. It was very memorable.
Dude, there was a moment in towards the end of the game where my brother and I ended up courtside behind their net.
Nice.
Or where they were inbounding.
Yeah.
Sorry. So you guys were scoring, and we were behind the net, and I remember looking up and seeing like this guy inbounding, and like I've got it down to a science the best time to talk like shit to other teams, right?
Isn't it?
Like, yeah, because like when there's a penalty or when there's a foul, basketball, sorry, it's a foul.
Yeah.
When there's a foul called, there's usually like a small delay before anything else goes on in the arena, before music or announcements or what have you.
Yeah.
So I've got it down to now I can see it, and then I understand the timing of that. Like, as a spectator, take it way too seriously. And so I look and I look at this guy who's about to inbound the ball, and he's like waiting to get the ball, and I go, hey, I bet you, I was like, hey, number 10, I bet you keep your shirt on when you go swimming. And that was exactly what I said. I was like, hey, I bet you number 10. As soon as I said number 10, he like he got the ball from the ref, and he looked around and was like, and then just kind of went back, and I was like, he addressed what I said. I was like, you know what?
There are so many times where like we're on the bench and someone says like an insane burn.
Yeah.
And you want so badly to be like, who said that?
Yeah.
And you want to turn, but like you can't, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just like, oh my god, that was awesome. Like,
Electric,
incredible burn, man.
It's so good.
It's so good.
I try to like get half the time is like if I can say something and get Michael to hear me.
Yeah. Oh,
but
man.
that never happens. So I just we've started like we get chants, we get everything going. You know, it's especially because if we start drinking or we start having a bit more fun than regular, and it's an electric time. It's happy I was there.
Dude, it's such a good show. Like, there's a lot going on. Like, out of our entire league, I think like the Sudbury vibe, it's very different than other arenas.
It's just a good time.
It's amazing. And that night was special. Like, packed house. Yeah. It all kind of came together on the right night.
It was so cool, man.
It was very cool.
Happy for you guys.
Hopefully it won't be the last either.
Yeah.
For sure. We'll run it back.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
Back. Yeah.
So, kind of now to come towards the end of it, do you have any, whether it be final message you want to leave from your time coaching or from your time so far teaching, or big important kind of thing that you want to kind of say to round out the conversation here?
Yeah, there's a lot of things I could say, but I'm going to leave you with one quote that my high school coach gave to me. And you don't have to be 100% better than your opponent. You got to be 1% better in 100 different ways. And that 1% can be good night's rest.
Yeah.
It could be mental toughness. It could be diet, nutrition, hydration.
A little bit.
X's and O's. Like, it's up to you. Visualization. Like, you find that 1%, and that will be a separator. And I'll give you one last example to end off.
Please.
So we were at track on Thursday, really rainy, cold, rainy, miserable.
Yeah, both.
So when you're in that condition, the blood leaves your skin and muscles, and it goes to your internal organs. Try and like stay warm, and because that's what's going to keep you alive, right? So before my sprinters went into the blocks, I had them hyperventilate, which is like, for about 20, 30 breaths.
Get them fired up.
And what that does is it kicks in your sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight, and it dumps adrenaline into your blood. So when that happens, the blood, because your body doesn't know you're going to run a race, it thinks you got a lion or a bear there, right? And it takes the blood from your organs and it puts it especially into your legs, because that's what's going to help you run or fight.
Right.
So that is 1% where other athletes don't know that, and they ran with cold, like muscles that don't have all the blood in them or adrenaline. And we set the most records that have ever been set by a Sudbury school. We had 76 athletes qualify for NASA, the most in a Sudbury school.
Jeez, man.
And we had 1,179 points.
In a terrible weather.
Which is the most that a Sudbury school's ever done. And we had triple the points as the second place team. And it's not me, like it's Coach Ward and all these other coaches, right? But I'm with the sprinters. But that 1%, hyperventilate, and you're going to get the blood to where you need it, and you're going to run a little bit faster than the person next to you, maybe.
Nice.
And it worked out, man.
Dude, that's awesome.
And I'm happy for these kids. They deserve it. They deserve everything that they get.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Man, that's
science.
That's good.
Geek out, man. Geek out on it.
Geek out on it, baby.
Man. I'm a geek for life, dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have any anything people can look forward to seeing you do, or anywhere people can connect, or what's your take us through, conclude for us?
Yeah, like being off social media it's hard, but I'm out there. Emails are out there. If you know someone that knows me, get my number and contact Glenn, and he's got my contact. And if you are if you anything basketball related or athletic related in Sudbury, I will talk to you for hours. I will geek out with you, and I will do anything I can for you. It's not about me. It's not about coaches. It's about athletics and the youth. Somebody's done it for me. I'm going to do it for someone else. And if even one of those people will pay it forward to the next generation, we all win.
That's a win.
And that's it, man.
That's a win for sure, brother.
Yeah.
I really appreciate
we do it together, man.
Yeah, I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much
awesome.
for having me, man.
Thank you, Kyle.
This is awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad you were able to make it out,
fun,
man.
Super fun.
Hell yeah. That's
As
awesome.
Well. Yeah.
Kyle Beers, everybody.